Hi guys, welcome back to Rose and Jones. Thanks so much for joining me. I just thought I'd pop on today and talk really casually, just a nice easy video of all my fragrances I've been enjoying through the month of July and all the new fragrances I've acquired through the month of July. Before I get into all that, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's been tagging me lately in different tags. I've got about 5 that are sort of piling up that I haven't yet completed. I've had a bit of a interesting week. I won't go into detail, it's been difficult, but I didn't fancy doing anything too heavy today or I didn't want to use my brain too much, to be honest. A casual run through fragrances that doesn't require too much brain power. It's going to be me saying, yep, I like it, this I've worn, blah blah blah. But thank you to everyone that has tagged me. I really appreciate being tagged, but I will get to all those videos, I promise. I'll do it when I'm in the right frame of mind, but I will get to them. Scent of the day today was actually something a bit bougie just to throw on, but I just fancied it. Like, fragrances are there to make you feel good, so you should always just pick what you want. And I chose today's Cassili, which I normally sort of reserve for sort of family events or something a bit special, because I don't want to associate this with an everyday scent. But it made me feel good today. It made me feel, I don't know, relaxed, happy. It's a sweet, powdery kind of fragrance from Parfums. It's predominantly frangipani, cassis, red berries. There's a strong amount of tonka bean, I believe, which is giving us that really lovely powdery, plush, velvety base. And I love that it has that peachy, that fuzzy peach apricot sensation, which I think is coming from the frangipani and the fruits. It's sort of that mixture, but it is a lovely sort of soft tropical smelling fragrance for the warm weather, and it just made me feel good today. So that was my scent of the day. A fragrance that I've been really loving and using sparingly, although now I've bloody well run out. La Plus Beau Jour de ma vie. That's it, that's the one. So this is that beautiful bottle with the puffer by Guerlain, and this is the one that was designed for a wedding day. This is such a pretty fragrance. It's a beautiful one. I acquired this rather valuable sample through Claire at Smurfygurly. She's an absolute diamond. I'm so fond of Claire. She's such a sweetheart. She was really generous. She sent me a few other bits from Guerlain, which are also expensive fragrances, so that I could test them out and find out which one I love the most. I like this one the most. It's on my wish list. It's a soft, powdery, sugared almond floral. It's that beautiful Guerlain kind of blend where they give you that velvety marshmallow softness, and you get those little hints of other notes, but it's always that lovely blend. And it's pure quality, and I would love a bottle of this. So this is one I've been using. It's now run out, but I can still sniff it. I'm going to sniff it. I can still get a lot out of the... oh, I've just got it all over my nose. That's my fix until I hopefully one day get a bottle. So, yeah, La Plus Beau Jour de ma vie. So there was a fragrance I was hoping to actually feature in this video and do it as a full unboxing, because I know how everyone loves that. Francesca Bianchi, and it was Under My Skin. And it's a very unusual fragrance. I'll describe it as kind of like this very, I hate the word sensual, but it is a sensual kind of scent. It's like this warm, raw gingerbread dough. That's the only way I can describe it. It sounds weird, but it's not. It's very addictive. And unfortunately, my order got mixed up, and I received somebody else's order and they got mine. And I got a box of samples, which is all good because Francesca Bianchi's an absolute lovely lady, and she's sorting it all out for me. So whoever got my bottle, you know, well done to you. I got their samples, and actually it's not the end of the world because Sticky Fingers is in here, which I've been dying to try. Actually, there it is. I wasn't sure if I'm going to like it because it's a honey fragrance. I'm not really into honey fragrances, but I do actually really enjoy this one. It is a very warm, comforting scent. So I'm going to give that a bit more wearings and see. The other two are ones I have actually tried before, which are Lost in Heaven and Angel's Dust, which are very nice. Not quite my style, but very, very nice. So fingers crossed that'll arrive this week. So I'll just whiz through the fragrances I've been wearing a lot this month that are already in my collection, and we'll get onto the new ones afterwards. So there was a mega hot day this week. Oh my god, it got to, what was it, 32 degrees Celsius, which is very hot for the UK. It really is. I can't bear that kind of heat, but there's a trusty old faithful fragrance I'll always reach for. And I've talked this one up many a time. Obviously, this is Eclat by Lanvin, which I never can say, and I apologise for my pronunciation. But this is a fail-safe for me because it is a bit of everything. It's this beautiful white tea leaf, wisteria, lilac, fresh, uplifting, lovely fragrance. So easy. It has similarities to Light Blue Intense, which a lot of people have said as well. It has that invigorating, just fresh quality that's not too typically lemon or typically floral, which just is in between. You know, wisteria and lilac isn't something you smell in everything, and it really works in this fragrance. It's got a softness, a coldness, a slight saltiness, but that cleanness is just perfect for me. I do love tea fragrances. So that is Eclat Apage. Also a fantastic blind buy because it's been ever so faithful and brilliant in this weather. Dolce & Gabbana Peony. Again, another good all-rounder, but this is perfectly floral, fresh, clean, slightly green, slightly sweet. It has a lovely Marabelle plum note. So I think it's Marabelle plum, pear, freesia, rose, and obviously peony. Very bright and juicy. It also has that lovely softness from the florals. Oh dear, there's a car outside. It's uplifting and fresh, like I say. My mum loves this one as well. It's just a very easy to love fragrance, and it does the job in this hot weather. So loving Peony by Dolce & Gabbana. I can't stop sniffing it. It's just such a beautiful one. It's Versace Crystal Noir. This is the EDP. I prefer this than the EDT. The EDT is fruitier, more tropical. I consider it to be more day wear. This one seems more evening-y to me. It has obviously the coconut. It's more coconutty than the Eau de Toilette. It has this lovely cardamom note, which makes it slightly spicy and really smooth. It's a very sexy fragrance. It has that tropical feeling. I love the cardamom. Like I say, it's a spicy coconut tropical scent. It is just to die for, and it's, yeah, it's a lovely one for the evenings. So moving on to all my newbies through July. Been a bit of a busy girl, so I decided to get myself a bottle of Cuir Beluga. So Cuir Beluga is part of the Art de Matière, which is the art materials line from Guerlain. I spoke about this briefly in the Sins video, laziness, sloth, because it performs lazy on me, which it kind of does, but I think it's that typically Guerlain subtlety that you get, that you know the scent is there. It hasn't got poor longevity or poor performance. It's just one of these fragrances that just kind of billows around you, and it just plays hide and seek, and it comes out here and there, but it's always there. Other people smell this on me, and I've got so many compliments wearing this. Such a compliment monster. The scent to me is this liquid like suede, so delicate, so fluidy, and they're utterly combined and blended with this most delicately finely milled marshmallow powder. So it's slightly sweet, it's very fine, it's very slightly powdery, so damn smooth. It's the slightest suggestion and hint of Play-Doh, so slight. When I wear this, it's like there's a colour that pops in my mind. Imagine the colour of that really soft grey blue, like a bluey grey colour. That's what this scent smells like, that colour. I love Cuir Beluga, so that is that one. So I did get some samples to arrive with my bottle of Guerlain. One of them actually was a new one from the Aqua Allegoria line, and this one was the Orange Soleil. I really was excited to get this. I'm quite fussy with certain fruits in the summer, and orange is one of the few fruits that I don't mind having as a fragrance, you know, as a straight up one fruit kind of fragrance. This is a beautiful orange fragrance, so I bought it. So I'm usually quite hesitant about the Aqua Allegoria line because I do hear a lot of people talk about the performances being very, very weak and very fleeting. This isn't like that. For me, on my skin, this is fantastic, okay? I wore the sample to death. I loved it. The orange is very bright, very strong, and it's very present. It seems to have captured all the best parts of an orange. Yes, it's juicy. Yes, it's bright. Yes, it's got all of that going on, but there's something so creamy and addictive in here. You know, Magnum do those orange sorbet lollipops, so they're not quite ice lollipops and they're not ice cream. It's somewhere in the middle, like a creamy sorbet. If you have an orange one, that's what the scent would have one of those. Almost more like mandarin, actually. It's got a bit more of a mandarin edge to it now I think about it. But not straight up gourmand, not cloyingly sweet, and definitely not synthetic smelling. If you're after a great orange fragrance, I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's absolutely beautiful. It's become my new easy reach. Morning through, I look in my cabinet and think, oh my god, what have I done? Look at all these fragrances. What am I going to wear? I can't leave anything out. No. There's some days you just can't think like that. You've got to just grab one, and this one seems to be the one I keep doing that too. It's so enjoyable. So yeah, Orange Soleil by the Aqua Allegoria line from Guerlain. Now in my Sins video, I also mentioned a fragrance to represent envy. Now I don't have that lovely dragon's egg from the House of Oud, but I do have this lovely travel size decant, which it seems they're now doing. So this is obviously Keep Glazed, and this is the Gourmand that smells just like a beautiful mango pastry with loads of whipped cream and a hint of ginger. Again, thanks to Claire, who sent me a little sample of Keep Glazed. I didn't like the opening of this. It reminded me of a sucked boiled sweet that had nothing going on, like it was just sort of translucent thing. But once that opening drifts away, it somehow wakes up and bursts into this beautifully creamy, delicious gourmand fragrance. If you search and sniff for it on the area that you sprayed it, you'll pick up all the different notes. But in terms of sillage, you get this very caramel, fruity, whipped cream kind of scent. As lovely and delicious as that sounds, I don't wear those kind of gourmands very often. That's one of those things I'd wear in a certain mood. So a 7.5 decant is plenty for me. This was £25. I think this is a great move by the House of Oud. Those beautiful dragon egg design bottles are exquisitely beautiful, but not always practical, and they're very expensive. So I think this is a really good option. I didn't even show you, look, it's actually got the little sticker so you know exactly which one it is. But I love that they've actually incorporated the design from the egg onto the bottle. That's just a really lovely touch. So yeah, that's Keep Glazed by the House of Oud. Stunning fragrance I bought in July was Rose Trombone by the House of Orchestre, Parfums. So if you watched my previous video on the entire house, then you would have heard of Rose Trombone. But if you haven't, it's cool. House of Orchestre, Parfums, as you may suspect, is a house all about music. So if the fragrances are inspired by music and different instruments, and what's really cool and really quite charming is that every single different fragrance has a piece of music to represent it on the website, kind of set the mood and the feel of the fragrance. And this was my favourite because it's familiar to me, being a rose fragrance, and a good rose fragrance at that. This one has kind of created a new category of rose fragrance in my collection. It's very bright and sweet in the opening, kind of almost juicy. I believe there's pear in here, but I when I first smelt this, I would have put money on the fact there was some sort of bright cherry or a big red berry or something. And it becomes a very polished scent. It's got a beautiful sandalwood note in here, but imagine the sandalwood being highly polished or waxed. So it's like the smell of lacquered wood, like really shiny lacquered wood, and then bright rose, red rose. It's definitely a red rose. Yeah, it's very bright, it's very bold. It doesn't lean conventionally masculine or feminine, in my opinion. It's just good for every single person in every situation, for any event, any weather. I just think this is a lovely fragrance. So that is Rose Trombone by Orchestre, Parfums. So I also picked up a little fragrance from a lovely indie house headed by Tessa Williams. Tessa Williams is featured on the lovely Mia's channel, Fab Trends Miya. She's an author. I think she's written a couple of books. And she's got her own line of fragrances. One of the collections that she's created is the elements. I love anything like that. I love the elements, the fire, the water, the earth, the air. I'm very attracted to water. I'm a water sign, so I guess that counts for something, but I bought water. So you may suspect this may be an aquatic fragrance. It is an aquatic fragrance. It's very oceanic. It opens with a lovely burst of bright, sweet bergamot. That's always a good thing in the hot weather. And you've got some notes of fig. I think there's jasmine. I think there's lily of the valley in here. And there's some lovely sweet and salty mineral notes. Although I don't think it's listed, I do get quite a sort of petitgrain scent in the dry down. Petitgrain can smell a bit more earthy, maybe even slightly sesame seedy. Does that make any sense? That's kind of what I get in the dry down of this, but it still remains that lovely, refreshing, uplifting, and kind of tranquil. The scent kind of makes me feel like I'm sitting by the ocean early in the morning before the sun's even up, alone, where it's slightly breezy, it's got a chill in the air, you've got the saltiness from the sea, and it's very tranquil. It kind of makes me feel like that, this scent. It's a really lovely one. It's Water by Tessa Williams. So staying in the same realm of oceans and salty sea breezes, a lovely one here from Arquiste, and this is Sydney Rockpool. And I first heard about this fragrance from super gorgeous Annalise from the Curious Perfumer. Did a really fantastic video on all of her salty fragrances. It was very enjoyable, and she spoke about Sydney Rockpool. I do love a really salty fragrance. Possibly the saltiest one I've ever smelled. It will give Womanity a run for its money. And this is obviously the classic Mugler with the figs and the caviar and all the salt, very salty. But this one, I think it has a pebble accord. You can imagine sniffing a pebble that's just had a big wave of salty water thrown over it. And the scent of a really creamy, luxurious drink. say a pina colada, but without all the pineapple. So creamy coconut, but not overpowering. In fact, it's just a hint of this cream. It just gives it this beautiful balance. I think I love the most about this fragrance is there's a really sharp aromatic hit of herbs. I can't remember what they are. It could be sage. I think there's definitely sage in here, which I do love. I think there could be rosemary or thyme. Oh my god, it's just addictive. It's a very sexy fragrance. It really is. Good quality notes. And it does smell very luxurious. So yep, Sydney Rockpool by Arquiste. So the next fragrance I bought on a bit of a whim, if I'm honest. I was sent a lovely 20% discount from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and I just thought, well, there isn't any on from the house I've been looking into buying. And so I went up and looked at all my samples and had a quick sniff around and thought, well, you know, do I like any of these? Do I want to spend more money? And I smelled a sample that I didn't even know I had, which was crazy. And it was the A La Rose, but it was the low A La Rose, so it was a much lighter version. And I wore it, and I thought, this is a beautiful rose fragrance. I mean, genuinely a pretty beautiful rose fragrance. So that's what I bought. I bought that. I bought low A La Rose. And it's actually knocked a very beloved rose fragrance out of the equation. It's a testament to how much I like it, because Rose Gypsy is one I've pretty much gone on about so many damn times. And I've worn it a hell of a lot. But this has just trumped it. It's very similar to Rose Gypsy, it is, but it's taking away the greenness that Rose Gypsy had. Smelling the scent without the green aspects, without that Dior green, slightly sour sometimes vintage smell, made me realise how much I actually prefer it without. I mean, it is simply a pink rose petal scent. There's not much to it. There's a lovely amount of sweetness. There's a lovely weightlessness. Even though it lacks that green element, still bright and refreshing. I have tried the A La Rose, the regular rose, and I didn't ever care for it. There was something about it, there's a musky quality in that I didn't really care for. This one is just a pure pink petal rose. I mean, imagine the wind has just blown some pink petals off of a beautifully fresh pink rose and you just walk through the petals in the air. It's just like that. It's beautiful. But it is very light. It is a very low performing fragrance. But I love the innocence. I love the super angelic scent profile that it has, and I'm so happy to have it. So that is the Maison Francis Kurkdjian Low A La Rose. So the last fragrance I'm going to talk about is a very special one, and I've been wearing it a lot for very personal reasons. Now, if you've watched my olfactory photo book video, you'll know what this fragrance is and who it reminds me of. The fragrance is called Burnt Cedar Rainbow Doves, and it is by 4160 Tuesdays. I won't talk too much about the fragrance because it's actually discontinued now, but it's a special one for this month and I have been wearing it, so it's still relevant. But the scent itself is actually very smoky, very woody, and it has an unusual sort of sweetness from a sugared almond accord. It's very niche, it's very artistic and very, very unusual. And it strongly smells just like somebody who had the most amazing workshop, who was incredibly clever, a genius really, very quiet, very humble. He would invent so many amazing things, make so many amazing things. And ever since I was little, I would be seeing the most amazing creations and inventions coming from this workshop or shed, and smell all the most amazing resins and lacquers and varnishes, and smells of soldering and all sorts of magic, and the wonders that were conjured up in this garden shed are all bottled up here. I lost this person exactly a week ago, and this scent is more special now, obviously. I only had a 7ml decant of this scent, and like I say, it's been discontinued, so I can't get hold of it anymore. An amazing surprise on Friday, in the post on Friday. I received a parcel. The thing I found in this box was a card of condolence with 3 names, 3 people, 3 reviewers from YouTube, fragrance reviewers. Along with the card of condolence was a box from 4160 Tuesdays, Burnt Cedar Rainbow Doves. I'm sitting here filming and I think I'm still speechless and in shock, because I'm trying to find the words to articulate, you know, that moment of getting this bottle. The part I find overwhelming is how 3 amazing people who I've never met have done this amazing thing. We've connected through fragrance and we became friends, sometimes through maybe just the sheer need to be daft, the need to talk someone's ears off about fragrance, and just the sheer need to support each other and be kind in this community. So to those 3 people, Scott, the mighty and honourable Centurion. John, the tender-hearted, supportive, lovely, scented snowdrops. And Claire, just the sweetest, most genuine, most kind and funniest person in Fragcom. Thank you so much for giving me the most special fragrance I've ever had. So on that note, I'm going to bid you all farewell. I've literally run out of things to say. I hope you've enjoyed this video, all my July favourites and new fragrances, and I look forward to seeing you all on my next one. Over and out.